You are now in tune with
Mamba Radio.
All right, what up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into BRYAN Mamba Radio. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and happy Monday to everybody out there. Happy Rusev Day also. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed your weekend. I know I say this every time, pretty much, but I'm going to keep this one short and sweet today. A lot of just pretty matter-of-fact stuff. I don't really have to go in too deep with anything really here. Pause. Just gonna, take a look at what happened this weekend. Like I always do on Mondays. Rounding up things from the world of sports, and then, figuring it out for what happened after that. And then, obviously starting off with, in sports, the finals wrapped up. The Warriors swept the Cavs 4-0, with the final score of the game 4 being 108-85. And as you can tell in my voice, pretty lackluster finals. With the exception of game one, it was just a pretty predictable outcome. We all knew the Warriors were gonna win, or here, going into it, we all knew that the Western Conference team was gonna win, whether it was the Warriors or the Rockets, and so that aspect of it was made it, like I said, predictable. But then when the Warriors won, and like I said, we knew it was going to be the Warriors, the Cavs rematch, and just the type of the quality or lack thereof of team that the Cavs threw out there. It like I said, it was pretty much over before it even started. It's just I don't know. It was a weird finals. It was, like I said, it was just whatever, but then, a lot of people are out there. The big narrative is right now is, this is KD's fault for choosing to go to the Warriors and blah, blah, blah. But look, man, the Warriors almost lost. If Chris Paul didn't get hurt in game 5, I believe, right? If Chris Paul didn't get hurt in game 5, the Warriors were going to lose that series. So, as much as people don't like, the fact that KD left or chose to go to the Warriors of all teams and stuff like that, they almost lost. They really were about to lose. And as much as, on the flip side, as much as people hate watching the Rockets play and the way that they play, they almost won. And they were this close to winning, a championship, So, like I said, we'll have to just, I think we can just kind of, it's not going to happen. I'd like for people to just let that shit go and just try to, find the new slant. But, it's, but that's just, sports journalism nowadays, whatever. That's just the hot topic to run with. So everyone's running with it. And speaking of KD, he also won the MVP. Thanks to parts of his, everyone knows how great his game 3 was. Arguably, probably the best game of his life. In his NBA career, just absolutely dominated, took over that game. I wish he would do stuff like that more. We know he can, obviously. But like I said, he took over. And then, like I said, but he also played well, and even though he didn't play as well in the beginning of the regular throughout the playoffs, he tuned it up a bit, and worked his way over to a back-to-back MVP or Finals MVP, and he's only like the 6th or 7th person to do that. So, like I said, props to him. And I know a lot of people out there are arguing and thought that it could have, and some people are even saying it should have gone to Steph for how well he played. He set the record for the most threes in the finals game and stuff like that, and he arguably had a bigger impact and whatever. But I'm not mad with KD winning MVP. He played very well. I think if Steph had another game like a if it was a closer game and Steph had to affect the game more, I think he would have won MVP. But like I said, that game was over about halfway through the third quarter. So, like I said, can't change the past. KD's MVP. Going to be interesting to see what he does going forward. Like I said, he already said that he's going to resign this summer, or he intends to resign this summer. So we'll, just have to wait and see with that, and going a little bit further than that, we'll have to see what he does. But there's always two sides of this coin, and on the other side, the Cavs. I mean, what else can you say? Like I said, no one really expected them to win. You can't even, if you try to argue that they had a chance to win the whole series, then you're just fucking lying. But just for me personally, I feel so bad for J.R. Smith. And it's just the whole, like, the whole gravity of what happened with him in game one. It's just, you can't help but feel bad for the guy. And I know, of course, and that's part of it, though. Listen, if it was going to happen, if that kind of play was going to happen to somebody, it's like, of course it would be J.R. Smith. But that's also part of why it's so, like I said, it makes me feel extra bad for him. Because that play is going to stick with him and ultimately define his career for the rest of his life, whether he likes it or not. Like, that's, like, when that happened, it was kind of like, oh shit, and everyone was like memeing it and all that stuff, and I get it. But like, once you kind of stepped back and saw what happened and everything behind it, how that was the only chance they had to really get a win and change the momentum of the series and everything, and just the whole. If you step back from just the memes and NBA Twitter and shit like that, and you really think about everything that's involved with that play, it's like I said, that was a history. That play will go down in history, like as like I said, it's gonna define J.R. Smith forever, like forever. Like, even when we're all long gone, people are going to be talking about, as long as basketball's around, people are going to be talking about that. And when they talk about the Warriors winning in 2018, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, they almost lost, but this happened, and it's sad because I know, like I said, J.R. Smith, if it's gonna happen to somebody, it's gonna happen to him. He's had a history of goofing off and doing crazy stuff, and the anything is possible jokes and all that stuff. I get it, but he's still a really talented guy. I suggest you go, if you don't know, do your Googles. Go back, not just watching him on the Knicks, but watch him on the Nuggets, watch him on the Pelicans, or excuse me, the Hornets at the time. But just go back and watch. J.R. Smith is very, very, very talented, even when he's on the Knicks as well. But yeah, it's tough. And then speaking of that play, the biggest news out of these finals was that apparently LeBron may or may not have broken his hand, but significantly injured it as a result of punching the whiteboard in the locker room out of frustration because of that play. And people want to beat around the bush and like, well, actually, no, it's because he had the 51 points and they still lost, or just because they lost over. It's like, no, it was because of that play. Like, they lost the game because of that play. You can go look back at one thing or another thing, but like, ultimately, it was that play, and everyone knows it. And they're just, like I said, they're just trying to beat around the bush with it. And LeBron got pissed and he punched a whiteboard. Now, there's an interesting and albeit funny conspiracy theory going out there that it's coming out now, and then it just goes to show the level of respect that everyone has for LeBron, that this did not get out. But listening to different podcasts and interviews and people talking about it after the fact, there was a huge rumor about that LeBron was injured. Amongst, the NBA people, the people that were there covering the game and stuff. There was a big rumor of that. And like I said, it didn't get out. I know I didn't hear about it, and I like to think that I have my finger on the pulse of, a lot of, dirt sheets, and I follow a lot of the people that, are insiders and stuff like that, and I saw nothing. I didn't hear anybody talk about it. I didn't see anything. And like I said, it just shows to show you, like I said, the level of respect that these guys have for the guys and girls have for LeBron. But like I said, the interesting conspiracy theory that I have that I've seen and it's been making a lot of noise is that so LeBron punched the whiteboard, but they're saying that he tried to punch J.R. Smith for it and missed J.R. Smith and actually hit the wall or the whiteboard, and that's how he broke his hand. Like I said, it's probably not the case, but it's an interesting conspiracy theory, and so like I said, we'll have to just wait and see how things that develop. But that also goes to show you the the level of of freak athleticism and just incredible wherewithal from LeBron to continue to play. Like I said, he knew this happened, whatever, and he continued to play, and he put up those kind of numbers that he put up. Almost a triple-double in Game 2, a triple-double in Game 3. Obviously, he kind of, like I said, he all knew it was over and took the time off. Probably didn't want to ruin it a little bit more, but tried his best and then realized, all right, fuck it, man. Like, we're not going to win. But, like I said, just put up the numbers he put up with a broken hand and or a badly injured hand, excuse me. We don't know if it's broken or not. But just incredible. And another thing now is, will this hand injury, affect LeBron's decision on what he does or where he goes next? I don't know. It's like, why did he? There's a lot of like people, criticizing LeBron for not coming out and saying that his hand was hurt or why'd you hide it? And then all of a sudden it's like, especially because in the press conference he had that wrap thing on his hand, and he was, he was hiding it under the table a little bit, moving it up, and then, teasing it a little bit, and then finally I think he like fixed his hat or scratched his face or did something, and then just left it there, and everyone's like, wait, what the hell is that? And then that's when he dropped the bomb, and so it's like I said, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because people were like almost all but certain he's gonna leave, but now it's like, did he throw this out there as like, hey, as like kind of an excuse to be like, well, actually maybe I wasn't at my full strength, so let's see if we can run it back and try again. I don't know, but yeah, man, it's I've already thrown out these questions before. Like, where's LeBron gonna go? What's he gonna do? What do the Cavs do if he leaves? Where blah 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 blah, all that stuff. But I'm gonna save. Like I said, you can go back and listen to them, and I'm also gonna save a lot of these questions and kind of try to curate more questions and get more bigger questions that I'll try to answer. And like do like just save them all for one episode where I try to figure out what's gonna happen this summer, because it is definitely going to be a crazy summer. So many different people. So many different free agents or pre-agents. Shout out to Bill and Jalen. So many pre-agents. So like I said, like that, and there just so many different options, so many different things that could happen. And so, like I said, this is, we always say, oh, this is the biggest summer ever and blah blah blah, but like this legit like actually might be. And it's like the way that the NBA looks for like going into the next decade could drastically change as a result of this summer, depending on where different players go. So like I said, I'm gonna save all that stuff for a specific episode. But yeah, just congrats again to the Warriors again. I think they're having their parade celebration tomorrow. So like I said, all my Bay Area fans out there, be safe, have fun. Celebrate responsibly, but at the same time, turn up. And also, most importantly, for me at least, a special shout out and congrats to Nick Young and JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee, we all know, was most notably grew to fame through the internet, through Shaqtin' a Fool. He was always, when he was with the Wizards or with, who else was he with? I can't remember who else. I think the Nuggets and a bunch of other different teams. He was, Shaqtin' a Fool and and then had a bunch of blunders and had the nickname Tragic Bronson and all that stuff, and but just to see him not just get a ring, because a lot of guys kind of just ride the pine, get the ring, whatever, but to actually go in the game and actually make a difference. JaVale McGee out there making a difference, protecting the rim, having an impact, grabbing boards, altering shots, put a lot of putbacks, alley-oops and stuff like that. So like I said, to see that happen, like I said, it's always a good feel-good story. And then also with Nick Young, just one of my personal favorite players, one of my Brown Mamba All-Stars. Like I said, I've been following Nick Young's career for quite some time, ever since he was at Cleveland High School, going to USC. Second Chance Season. Real ones know about Second Chance Season. If you don't, go watch it. It's a documentary about Nick Young going into SC, overcoming the death of his brother. So like I said, check that out. All the way from the Wizards, going from the Wizards to the Clippers, and then having that huge game, with what launched Swaggy P into becoming Swaggy P, was, after the game, I believe it was after the game where in the playoffs when the Clippers came back from like 30 points almost to beat the Grizzlies, and he came up wearing the Versace shirt, looking all crazy, and then he said, "Oh yeah, you call me Swaggy P, blah blah blah," and I'm like, man, that's so Nick Young, because like I said, he just whatever, and he's Swaggy P, and he doesn't even have a P in his name, so just think about that, and then he just going from the Clippers to the Lakers, I love Swaggy P, and like I said, it's just good to see him get a ring and celebrate the way he is and stuff like that. So, I said, a special shout out to him. And like I said, just again, congrats to the Warriors as a whole. But yeah, basketball season the NBA season is officially over. So like I said, it's like I said, but that doesn't mean that there's no more basketball. We still got the WNBA. Like I said, check out those lovely ladies doing their thing on the court. The Drew League is going on right now, especially here only here in LA. And so, like I said, now that the season's over, like I said, you'll never know who's going to drop by and make a special appearance out there. So, like I said, go out there if you want to see some great guys, get their hoop on, or if you need your hoop fix. And it's not just the Drew League. There's all those other different summer leagues that are going on all over the country. Check those out. Like I said, it's not just that. There's a lot of golf going on. There's baseball still going on, and I know it's the dog days of summer. That's what they always say. But like I said, it's like I said, if you're a sports fan like me, you'll find a way to watch some sports. You know what I mean? So like I said, for the casual fan, yeah, it might be a little while because the NFL is not coming back for another couple months. So like I said, it's the dog days of summer for a reason. But like I said, we still got baseball. And speaking of baseball, Dodgers, baby, continuing their hot streak. Won another series against the Braves. And I know people are trying to criticize the Dodgers for saying, like, sure, they're winning, but, these are all, below 500 or average teams and stuff like that. And listen, I get it. But after the kind of start that the Dodgers had this season, we'll take any kind of wins we can get. So like I said, they're just continuing to stay hot. Leading the league in home runs right now, when it just seems like everyone is crushing the ball, especially Bellinger crushing the ball still, Matt Kemp crushing the ball still, Grandal crushing the ball still, and easily the biggest diamond in the rough that we found, or just cannot believe we found this guy, Max Muncy, just crushing the ball, tied with Bellinger with the league, or the team leading home runs, just out of nowhere essentially, but just, Muncy, man, just and a beautiful swing, beautiful swing. I really like his approach. It reminds me of a Lance Berkman swing, at least the follow through. But like I said, so it's just a very nice swing. And like I said, it's just helping them. Like I said, they just need to run support, and it's coming at the right time. And especially because another pitcher is potentially going to the DL in Walker Buehler, which is no bueno. Like I said, the brightest young star that we had in our bullpen or on our pitching roster right now, not good. That he's going to, it's something like in his ribs or his obliques or something like that is like strained, and so like I said, they said they don't know how long he's going to be out for, but they're going to keep reevaluating him, and I'm sure they'll probably not shut him down completely right now, but just definitely keep an extra watchful eye. And like I said, they got to keep calling people up and again, I mentioned in the last episode, but I don't know how long this bullpen and this pitching roster can survive without their big guns, and especially with no real timetable for Kershaw's return or Maeda's return or Rich Hill or any of those guys like that. Like I said, you just gotta wonder how long they can make this last. They're doing a great job for now, but like I said, eventually it's gonna start petering out, and they gotta hopefully have a plan B or have a backup plan for if, once that happens, if the big guns can't come back in time. But they have another series to start the week against the lowly Rangers. Again, another not so great team, but like I said, is any win's a good win at this point. So they're playing the Rangers against the start of the week. And then we've got the yucky Giants this weekend. I'm trying to go to a game. So if you're trying to go to a game or you're going to a game, let me know. Let's try to catch a game or something. It'll be my first game I've been to this year. I know, not good. But hey, listen, it's better late than never. So let me say, if you're trying to go or if you're going to be going, let me know. Maybe I'll see you there. But then moving down the 5 with some more baseball. Angels, another big series win for them against the Twins. Again, another lowly team, and they're after a little bit of a slump, they're trying to work their way back up as well. But they've won their last 7 out of 3 games, so that's big for them as well. Especially considering they got 2 big divisional series coming up against the Mariners, who are just sneakily the best success story, or the sneakily one of the hot teams in the MLB that people aren't talking about. Mariners leading the AL East, or excuse me, AL West. But then they got the Athletics right after that. So again, 2 big divisional games. Each win or loss, is a full win and loss as opposed to a half. So like I said, it'll really it'll really be helpful for the Angels if they can change their status and stuff like that going through it, so they can move on up in the rankings to help get back towards the top again, and try to maybe catch the Astros, and ultimately try to catch the Mariners. But Trout's still dominating, pitching staff still looks great, but the big news, huge news coming from the Angels is this potential Ohtani injury. Initially they said it was a blister. Then they did some more MRIs and some more stuff and said that it was a UCL sprain on his pitching elbow. And so initially it just seemed like it was like, okay, we'll just sideline him for the 10-day DL. They've done some more work and some more tests and stuff like that, and they find out it's like a grade 2 sprain, which is pretty bad. And they're doing everything possible to have to avoid Tommy John. I'm seeing some stuff that they might just completely shut him down if his elbow doesn't get any better. And I'm seeing, like I said, that they're considering doing Tommy John. But like I said, there's a lot. All the timetables say he'd be done till 2020, which is if that happens, whether he needs the surgery or not, that would be devastating to the Angels, to Ohtani himself, and just the league overall, because he's he's, although they've kind of limited him on his play so far, man, it's just, we haven't seen anything like this. He's still super young, and to be so, like I said, not necessarily dominating the game, but just he's just productive, and he's been a great success story so far. And just like I said, just his ceiling is endless right now. Just the endless potential for him going forward, and to possibly hinder that with a serious injury like an elbow injury would just be, like I said, horrible and devastating for so many reasons. So hopefully they can avoid that. And just like I said, he can, Ohtani-san, ganbarimasu. Praying for you, and hopefully, like I said, best of luck to you. Nothing is serious goes on with this. So, but yeah, let's see. Trying to run through all the rest of the stuff here with wrestling. Quickly, not a whole lot of stuff coming from the world of WWE. Because, like I said, not until at least after this week when it's Money in the Bank. But big stuff happening in New Japan, across the pond on the west side over there. They had their like I said, like I mentioned before, they had their pay-per-view Dominion, which is the equivalent to like their SummerSlam. and it was pretty damn good. They had some crazy results. There was some other, like, all the undercard stuff for sure. It was like just not a whole lot of, just kind of like moving storylines along. But some big stuff happened. First with Hiromu Takahashi defeating Will Ospreay for the junior heavyweight belt. Crazy. I didn't think he was going to win right away. I thought they were going to, try to develop this feud, but he won right away. So your new junior heavyweight champion in Takahashi. And then Chris Jericho actually faced Tetsuya Naito. Came back, teased it before that he was going to do it. Then like some stuff happened. He acted like he wasn't going to do it, and then came out and made a comeback, and they had a crazy match where he just super American heel style, just reckless and crazy, just beat Naito's ass before the match even started, and actually defeated Naito for the Intercontinental Championship belt. Crazy, just crazy that he actually won the belt. And so, like I said, there's, especially with Chris Jericho, there's just been so many rumors that he'll go back to WWE. He's going to just stop wrestling overall. He's in tour with Fozzy and all this stuff. But it's, apparently he's going to be staying in New Japan for a while. He's the new champ. So, like I said, we'll have to just see how that goes. But the biggest news out of Dominion was Omega Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and arguably their best match that they've had. And Kenny Omega finally did it. He defeated Okada, hit the one-winged angel, hit him with 2 one-winged angels, and finally won. And that was crazy. It's just crazy to see and crazy to even say that he's actually won, because people thought it would never happen. But just an amazing match. I suggest you go, if you can't find the full match, at least find the highlights. It's incredible. The whole pay-per-view, by the way, is just really good. So like I said, go watch it. But to piggyback off of the big title changes, there's like people theorizing that because New Japan is growing so fast in popularity outside of Japan, that it feels like it's just, obviously it's catered to a Japanese audience, but they're saying, like I said, they're seeing that they're growing so rapidly that they put the belts on these gaijins, or white people or foreigners, to help expand the brand to a more wider audience. Like, oh, I recognize that guy, or whatever, or Chris Jericho, I've heard of, like, whoa, Chris Jericho's in, so like I said, it makes sense to me. Like I said, it's just a theory, conspiracy theory out there. Like I said, it makes sense to me. They have a new owner, and then they're trying to do a bunch more things with New Japan, and like I said, to expand it everywhere else and stuff. So, like I said, it makes sense, and it's just, and then it's only good. That's only good news for New Japan, so that they can, because it's like I said, it's if you're sick and tired of WWE, and all their bullshit with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and the same old bullshit that they always do with like all the reality show stuff behind it, I highly suggest you watch New Japan. If you really like NXT, you will really like New Japan. So, like I said, it was great. Dominion was great. Looking to see what happens next with these guys, with these feuds and with these belt changes and stuff. So, yeah. Let's see. Run, and then NFL mini camps start today, or mandatory mini camps. Mandatory for some, not others, because there's a lot of holdouts as well from big players looking for some new contracts. And all I can say whenever situations like this happen is usually the players holding out deserve the contracts they're holding out for. Guys like, I don't know, Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack or Julio Jones, pretty important players to their teams. And whenever that happens, I always side on the side of the players, and I say to the teams, pay these men. Just give them what they're due, what they owe. They've brought a lot. They've given your team a lot of money. Pay it back, because, like I said, there's so many situations where guys have just left, and the team suffered as a result, both on the field and off the field, financially and stuff like that. So, like I said, just pay the man. Pay the man. It's not that hard, So, but yeah, that's that's kind of it from sports. Well, the transition. I want to save it for the transition. So I kept forgetting to mention it in the last couple episodes, but it's actually kind of worked out perfectly for this episode because now it kind of came to a head and it's all resolved. The huge news, huge NBA news unrelated to the finals was everything happening with BRYAN Colangelo and those burner Twitter accounts as reported by The Ringer. Shout out to The Ringer, shout out to Bill Simmons, shout out to Chris Ryan, and shout out to Ben, what was the writer's name? Ben Dietrich. Yeah, sorry about that, Ben Dietrich. But a great piece, and if you're unfamiliar, if you're living under an NBA rock, there was the story that was, put out there where this guy, Ben Dietrich, got an anonymous tip from a 76ers fan that they noticed some suspicious Twitter activity between these different Twitter accounts that, like, hey, they kind of tweet the same thing. So they looked into it, and he's like, okay. So he took a look into it, and he's like, wow, that's true. And then they were tweeting out a lot of stuff about the 76ers, a lot of stuff kind of like defending BRYAN Colangelo. I apologize if I was saying Jerry Colangelo earlier. I kind of thought of, but BRYAN Colangelo, Jerry Colangelo's son, who was the GM of the 76ers. A lot of these Twitter accounts were using the same kind of language, followed the same people. You know what I mean? Kind of like, and then I think it was like up to like 5 different Twitter accounts, and it's kind of supports like, it's almost too, like I said, it's almost too coincidental or too similar to be a coincidence. So like I said, they deep dove into it, and then finally, once they gathered enough information, had enough stuff to present to them, they reached out to the 76ers and said, hey, we've noticed these things happening. Can you or can you not confirm that these accounts are what's going on here? They get back to them saying, hey, this is blah, 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 what happened. Ultimately, what comes back is this one Twitter account belongs to BRYAN Colangelo. And I'm like, oh, okay. But one of them does. But it's the most mild of the different Twitter accounts. But the other ones are like, we don't know about those. And I'm like, okay. So they found out that one of these Twitter accounts does belong to BRYAN Colangelo. BRYAN Colangelo addresses it saying, pulls the whole, listen, the NBA is a 24-hour, 365 or 24/7, 365 sport, and everything happens. So I tried to create an anonymous account so I can follow what's going on and follow the news and get information just like everybody else. Sure, fine, that's fine. But then they said, what about these other ones? They didn't know, and this set off a firestorm through NBA Twitter, through Sixers Twitter, who is already crazy enough as it is. And they were just helping. They got word for this, and they're like, finally, something. So, because they don't like BRYAN Colangelo, that much as a fan base. He was responsible for the Jason Tatum trade, or the trade that led to the Sixers getting the first pick, taking Fultz, and the Celtics end up taking Jason Tatum. And especially with the loss of the Sixers to the Celtics and seeing Jason Tatum, be the best player on the floor while Markelle Fultz was just getting DNPs, coaches' decisions. It was magnified and it was fresh in the fans' minds. So they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. And they're just going at it and then doing all this crazy stuff and did all this crazy work. And they eventually found out, they're like, hey, no, those other accounts are still linked to them and they might be linked to his wife. And now it's just getting crazy. Now everyone's like, what in the world is going on here? And then BRYAN Colangelo comes out and says, I don't know what's going on. I've never heard of this. So then now the Sixers had to do, and they brought in a third party to conduct an investigation. They found out, like, actually, yeah, those Twitter accounts were connected to his wife, BRYAN Colangelo's wife. And the issue here is that, so a lot of the tweets were just stuff like, it's like the KD burner accounts where, people are talking shit on Twitter, just being Twitter trolls, and they were just going, and she would just say, actually it's a good move because you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of that stuff, and for whatever reason, the main jokey part of it that came out of it was people would make fun of BRYAN Colangelo's collars on his shirts, and go watch it. Look at the pictures; they're actually pretty funny, and they're comically large collars. But But the biggest one was, and then she would defend, or he or she would defend the caller, saying those are normal callers. That's so immature of you, blah, blah, blah. Find a new slant or whatever. And so that's why if you ever hear someone say find a new slant, that's what that's from. Yeah, and so they found out that these Twitter accounts were linked to Bryan Colangelo's wife. And this was and again, the real issue was not just because of the defending stuff, but there were tweets that it's like, how would a normal fan know this stuff? And there's a lot of most notably it was stuff about the players, and then most notably the one was about Jahlil Okafor. There was people questioning, it was around the time when Jahlil Okafor was in trade talks and stuff, and then someone was like a beat writer was saying maybe this isn't a good move, or they were questioning Bryan Colangelo's decision on whether to do the trade or whatever. And then this Twitter account said, hey, next time you're at a presser, why don't you ask them about Jahlil Okafor's failed physical? And then it was kind of just, it seemed like not a big deal. Like, okay. And then they reached out, and then I guess someone had asked about it, and they're like, they kind of had this look like, how did you know he failed his physical? And so it's kind of stuff like that where it's like that Twitter account that asked that question was linked to Bryan Colangelo's wife. And it's like, how do you know this? So now Bryan Colangelo is talking to his wife about stuff, or how does this person have access to this kind of information? And then there's other stuff, those Twitter accounts were calling out players, mainly Joel Embiid, questioning his character and his, work ethic and stuff like that. And so, like I said, it was a lot of stuff like that going on, and the players were kind of like, what the hell? When they saw the type of tweets, and they're like, and then you could kind of tell that they didn't really like Bryan Colangelo anyway, or they weren't a fan of his. And so, long story short, once the third party finished the investigation, they found out that yes, these tweets and these Twitter accounts were linked to Bryan Colangelo and Bryan Colangelo's wife. He came out with a statement saying, hey, actually, I don't know. I didn't know about these things, blah, blah, blah. And then ultimately Bryan Colangelo resigned, right before the end of the weekend. And it was like, oh shit. So Bryan Colangelo resigned from his spot as GM, and I believe president of basketball operations as well. It was a crazy week and a half just hearing all the stories come out and stuff. And it was some really, really great investigative journalism. Now the Ringer guys have come out and they've done podcasts explaining all this stuff way, way, way better than I can. I gave like the Cliff Notes version of it, but they explain everything in a lot more detail and stuff like that. So go listen to them on the Ringer NBA shows. They talk about it, and like I said, they word everything very carefully, and then that they're not trying to, the big thing is people are saying that, they're trying to get them fired. I don't know if that was the case or, ruin this guy's life or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, this guy is doing some pretty shady stuff that you should not be. Like I said, once it got to the point where you're leaking information, stuff like ask them about the failed physical, that's a whole other territory. Like that shouldn't be going on. And if it's there, then what else is being said? So, like I said, it's just really great investigative journalism. I said initially when it came out that this is to the Ringer what the oh my gosh, this is for this Bryan Colangelo burner Twitter account story is for the Ringer what the Lenny Kekua Money Teo thing was for Deadspin, and that helped put Deadspin on the map in a wider, in a more mainstream audience, or it got them a wider audience. Sports fans and stuff knew about Deadspin, but it once the Lenny Kekua thing happened, oh my god, I'm laughing so much at the Lenny Kekua thing just because, being or having ties to Hawaii and stuff like that, it's a little bit more invested, so I know a little bit more of the people involved and stuff, just from being a fan, a follower of like Polynesian players and stuff like that. And like I said, so like all the that whole thing was crazy, and I'm sorry, I apologize for laughing so much about it, but yeah, this is gonna help put the Ringer on the map. And like I said, for a while there, more people were talking about this Ringer story than the actual finals itself. So, like I said, it's essentially over at this point now. I'm sure the Sixers have everything was riding high for them. They had a great playoff run. They got a lot of great young players. They trusted the process, and like I said, it just seemed like nothing could go wrong for them. It seemed like the only way was up. And then now there's this happening, and so like I said, it's a big blow to them and their future plans. And like I said, they got to find a new GM. I think Brett Brown was given, like not GM duties, but like player personnel duties and stuff like that in the time being. After he got an extension, so like I said, we'll have to see how that we've seen how that goes. It's very, very hard to do. We saw it. It didn't work that well with Stan Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy. Didn't work very well for Doc Rivers, so we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, it's tough, man, and just props to the guys at the Ringer for doing great investigative journalism work. Like I said, it had a kind of unfavorable outcome in a sense, but at the same time, it's like like I said, they did their job. They did a great job at doing what they do. And as a wannabe journalist myself, like I said, that kind of stuff really gets me going, and really, especially in a time when right now sports journalism as a whole isn't, it could be much better. It's cool, but it could be much better. And there's definitely a lot wrong with it. But seeing something like this come out, and from a place like the Ringer too, with so many great, talented staff members, obviously helmed by the Podfather. One of my biggest influences, Bill Simmons. But you got such great guys like Chris Ryan was involved with this, who was also a Sixers fan, by the way. Like I said, these guys have just great resumes. Go look them up. If you don't believe me, just do your Googles. So like I said, shouts to them, shouts to the Ringer, shouts to Bill Simmons, and shouts to sports investigative journalism. Shout out to journalism in general. So that was cool. But transitioning into like the regular news stuff, I guess that's not sports related. Quickly gonna go through it. Actually, I guess it is kind of sports. The last one sports related. So Lonzo Ball, had the rap album ZO2 and all that stuff. And it's dropped the video for his song Ball in the Family. Is it good? No, but it seems like it's not meant to be good. It's not meant to be a chart topper. It's not meant to have anything. It's just more they're just obviously doing it to have fun. If you watch the video, it's like his parents are in it, his other family members are in it, stuff like that. And like I said, they're just trying to have fun. Enjoy this moment where Lonzo is, as a Laker and reaping all the extra benefits of being a professional athlete, and just trying to make an extra buck, from Facebook money, YouTube money, trying to promote the Big Baller brand, and all that stuff. So that came out, and people were roasting him, but like I said, Lonzo, no, he's very self-aware. He knows whatever, so he doesn't care if he gets roasted. But speaking of roasting, Bleacher Report ran this segment. I don't remember what it's called, but they had the little vignettes in between them and stuff where it's like the Player Haters Ball sketch from Chappelle's Show. If you're unfamiliar, I believe it's on YouTube now. Go watch. If you need to laugh, or if you want to laugh so hard that you might cry or piss your pants, watch the Player Haters Ball. But they essentially copy that and have NBA players, roasting other players, and they have one where KUZMA starts dissing Lonzo, and honestly, it's pretty funny. He makes fun of his shooting, makes fun of his shoes, he makes fun of Big Baller brand and all that shit like that, and it's pretty funny. I can't lie. But then Lonzo responds with a diss track, Pusha T style, called Kylie Kuzma, and that shit is funny. That was actually funny, and it's actually, if you listen to it, it's actually really funny, and arguably, you can argue it's actually a pretty good diss track, like as far as like just a good rap diss track. but it's funny. It's good. It's adding to the hilarity that is all the young Lakers. You know, like I said, with Lonzo and Kuzma most notably, but Lonzo, Kuzma, Ingram, Josh Hart is in there too. Always on Twitter getting it in with those guys, and it's just adding to that whole just they all roast each other and shoot on each other and stuff like that. And you know, everyone's like, oh, what's Kuzma gonna do? Is he gonna respond with a diss track? But then Kuzma commented on the picture that Lonzo posted promoting the song, and he said something like, just wait till Wednesday, I'm gonna beat your ass. Oh, it's just, like I said, it's all funny. And if you're taking this shit too seriously, then that is a you problem, because these guys love each other. They roast each other all day on Twitter. They roast each other all day on Instagram and stuff like that, you know. So it's just, they're all having fun. It's nothing personal, I don't think, at least. But it's not. I don't think it's anything personal. And like I said, it's all in fun and games, and it just shows that I hope that no matter what happens with the Lakers going forward, that they try to keep this young core just for chemistry purposes, because, you know, it's the secret. That's the secret ingredient for any great team in any sport is you have to have the right chemistry. And a lot of these young guys, like I said, they all actually like each other. They're cool with each other, like I said. So like I said, whatever happens, I hope they just don't. I hope they do what they can to try and avoid breaking up this this core group and try to keep it together, because chemistry is very, very, very important. But yeah, last thing, not sports. Like I said, it was kind of a slow weekend, really. But last week, IHOP, the International House of Pancakes, teased everyone on Twitter with this little video where all they did was flip the P upside down to a B, and they were saying what's going to happen, like coming soon, all this stuff, and it caused everyone to speculate what they were doing. There was all kinds of, you know, there was a big Twitter buzz for it. There was a big, you know, news media buzz for it. YG had a funny ass tweet response to it. He said, "Man, that's bull." Like, that was actually really funny. But so everyone's wondering, is it B? What's the B gonna be? Is it like breakfast? Or are they gonna do this new thing, like where it's like a special, like promotion, or they're gonna add whatever? And no people weren't sure. Everyone was like super hyped for it. Keyword being was, because it turns out that the B is just for burgers. And IHOP is going to be serving burgers now. And everyone's like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, at first, for a while, everyone thought it was kind of like a troll move, because it's like, that's such a basic thing to do, and like, why would you create so much hype for that? But nope, it wasn't a troll. It was pretty legit. And they have a sponsored video with on Twitter and everything, where it's like, you know, they're flipping burger patties, and they're like, we're serving burgers now, and they have like all these different, you know, different burger styles and all this shit, and everyone's like talk about a dick tease on that one. But you know, it's just, you know, me personally, I know a lot of people like IHOP, and me personally, I don't. I think it's just whatever. I guarantee you, like, I mean, I'm lucky because I grown up around a lot of places that are a lot better than IHOP to serve breakfast. So if I'm craving breakfast, I'm not thinking, hey, let's go to IHOP. I'd rather go. There's a ton of other places around where I live that's way better than IHOP, and I guarantee you, there's a lot more better burger places than IHOP. You know what I mean? And if I want a burger, I guarantee you, I'm not thinking I'm going to IHOP. Especially when I got an In-N-Out down the street from my house and a Shake Shack about 10 minutes away from my house, that I can go there if I want, or I can get it Postmated or Uber Eats or whatever. So, I mean, sure, IHOP, do your thing, I guess. If they were just going to create hype, it worked. Maybe these people are going to go in, and sure, maybe for like the first week or so, people are going to be going in curious as to is it actually really good, and spoiler alert, probably not. It's just a burger, and so, you know, I don't know. They the ultimate tease, and just goes to show that these big brands, these big corporate brands, some of them got it, but most of them don't. It's just another failed attempt at trying to use social media in a connective or in a creative way to attract new fans. Taco Bell is really good at it. A lot of these other brands, some of them are like I said, some are better than others, but this was a failed attempt in my opinion. At least, well, here. It would have been good. This is definitely like hindsight 2020 bullshit, but it definitely would have been better if it was something better than just burgers, I think. But it was a creative way. It got people, like I said, it got the buzz going, so I guess they did their job. Yeah, like I said, sorry. I know I said it was going to be short and sweet, and I went a little longer than expected. But hey, listen, like I said, it's the way it goes sometimes. But no matter what, thank you guys for listening, and girls, if you're new ladies out there listening, any lovely ladies listening, thank you. But anyone out there, thank you for listening. I'm gonna start wrapping this up now. So like always, if you like what you heard, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, comment, all that YouTuber bullshit. And subscribe wherever you get podcasts, wherever you listen to stuff like that. SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn, even like other weirder, different, not as popular podcasting. I've seen myself there. Check those out. If you want to follow along with me or just say something to me, maybe you agree with something I say, maybe you don't agree with something I say. Most of the time people don't agree with something I say. Or you just want to say what's up or anything like that, follow along on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. I'm not really on Facebook or Tumblr. I have it just to dominate, try to get a hold of all the platforms. But if you want to say what's up, hit me up on Instagram or Twitter, at Brown Mamba Radio, or look up Brown Mamba on Google or Yahoo or Bing, or ask Jeeves. If you ask Jeeves who Brown Mamba is, even he knows. Or my personal stuff, JXCKSXNNN. Yes, that's 3 N's. And like always, everything is available on the blog, on the website, brownmamba.us, Squarespace. I'm waiting for you. Holla at me. Come on. I showed you what I can do. You know I can do it. I know I can do it. Let's do it. And yeah, that's just going to do it for me today. I'll try to check back with you guys on Friday at the end of the week. Seeing what happened this week. Like I said, it's going to be, hopefully some more stuff goes on. Like I said, no more basketball. And I know I've said it a ton of times before, but we're in the dog edge of summer now. So like I said, it's we're going to be trying to change it up a little bit, doing a little bit new things here with the Brown Mamba channel, Brown Mamba Radio. So follow along, mainly with the YouTube. Try to follow along. I got some ideas, and hopefully I can get them out to you guys hopefully soon. Until then, I will see you guys at the end of the week on Friday. And don't just have a good week, make it a good week. Drink more water. Health is wealth. And please, everybody, be kind to each other, because it's easy to be nice. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.